Hello and welcome back. Part 3. We waited 2 weeks for it, but I think it was worth it. The deviations between the book and the TV series continue, but I find myself being a little more forgiving each time. Still a bit janky, which we'll discuss, I'm sure. So we start off with the aftermath of the battle between Arthur's men and Goundless's men. Nice way of doing it on the cheap there. You know, we didn't have to see a battle. I mean, it's been 2 weeks, isn't it? Lots happened in 2 weeks, including this fight, which we didn't need to see. Cut to men groaning on floor, which is it's good. You know, this is what TV does when it hasn't got the money. Maybe, hopefully, we can let this series do well enough that they're allowed, Bad Wolf are allowed to do more episodes and to fill out a little bit more with what's going on in the books, and have the budget to have these fights. That'd be nice. So it's fingers crossed that it's doing well in America. I have no idea if it is, and of course the UK will get it in in autumn. So pretty soon. So fingers crossed it does well, and the second series, bit more cash, all that business. It's not likely though, is it? You know how these things are. Oh, you did it on that budget. Well, you could probably do it on a lesser budget this time, couldn't you? Anyway, the fight. So yeah, we had what I'm going to call the flipper armor fight. My son watches a show called Captain Underpants, and when there's budgetary constraints in this animation, they do a flip chart, flip animation of what happened. That's the kind of thing that happened. It was that was that. So they capture Goundless, and we show the difference between the Arthur in the books and in the series again, because Arthur very much treated him like a king straight away, that kind of thing. But they're leaning heavily into Arthur being a thinker, which they haven't had the chance to do yet, because he hasn't. What did he do in episode 1? Get a beating from his dad, a legendary beating from his dad. Episode 2, just be away, and then so it's time for there's more screen time for Arthur, so start fleshing out his character, and you'll see as we go forward it's starting to feel a bit different, like they're not sure, but we'll see as we go. We then go to so after the capture of Gondlius and whatnot, we go to the blood right between Derval and Nimue, which we were waiting for a bit earlier. And so the minute it happened, I knew that within 2 minutes that she'd be asking him for something. And so, because this is I don't know whether or not it's the way these shows are produced or whether someone says, no, we better put that in there, because what we don't want is the audience to forget that it happened. So we want it to happen, cut to a scene, come back, and then she's going to use the favour. I don't know. I think audiences are smarter than that these days. So, give us a bit of credit, and put some pacing in. Bedwin is then asking Arthur to stay, and Arthur seems to be mulling things over. Again, this is from when we first saw Arthur, and he just wants to unite the kingdom and so on and so. No, actually, that seems to be Merlin's plan, doesn't it, to unite the kingdom? I don't know. He's not about in this one, so maybe he's looking for the 13 treasures. Evidence of that'd be quite nice. But then, having said that, Nimue has only suffered one of the 3 wounds, and she didn't lose an eye like she did in the book. So I don't know what they're doing with that, because there's no grating between Christianity and paganism. So I don't know. So anyway, Bedouin asking Arthur to stay, and Arthur seemingly, well, I might do, yeah. Or whether that's just part of his character in this, I don't know. Derval then has a moment of camaraderie with Arthur's men, but he's still acting like a child, and they're asking him to do that, which is odd. I keep saying it because it is odd. He's still giving that sort of look, the same look as what's her face. Do you remember? What was Willow's girlfriend in Buffy? There was a lot of meekness. He's doing a lot of that. It's very odd. But anyway, yeah, he gets his camaraderie with the men, and they're all very boisterous and so on and so forth. Yeah, which, he's trying to knit himself into the group. Of course he is. We then go to Nimue having real visions again. The gods, so the gods haven't left her. Just before this scene, actually, she curses Arthur for not letting her kill Gondlius, which, she's obviously very upset, but Arthur's playing the bigger game here. He's playing a different game to them, but that hasn't been spelled out yet. The fact that Arthur and Merlin's lot are actually at odds, and that's where Morgaine sort of comes from one side of things, as she's shunned by Merlin and comes over more to the Christian way of things and so on. None of that's happening. She's a character in this, and she's important, and she's, but they kind of don't know who the character is, because it is so far removed from the fleshed out character. And I mean, Bernard Cornwell, he writes characters, people like Eggswell, people who you can hate, you can love and hate. He's such a good writer. Obviously he's got the medium of book, and so he can flesh these things out. But what it means is, in this series, because she is an entirely new character, if you like, she's certainly not the character from the books. This is a character who the script writers have come up with. She's quite bland. She isn't a character. She just does what she's needed to do at the time. She's an exposition story mover honorer. I don't know. So, I mean, she looks great, the actor, and she's intense. She can give intense looks and what have you. She's playing with what she's been given. But yeah, I mean, and I'm not even doing this as a sort of trade off, between the, facing off between the books and the TV series. I'm saying that she's a bland character. Yeah. Anyway, Derval and Arthur then have a talk about Derval obviously wanting to become part of Arthur's crew and what have you. And you see Arthur confide in Derval with his talk of, well, Nimue doesn't like me anymore and stuff like that. The kind of thing that leaders don't normally do. He's already letting Derval into his inner sanctum, if you like, because he realises that Derval's important. Without Merlin about, Derval is probably the sanest person to be closest to the old gods, if you like. So in the books, he's an in, with Merlin. He's also impressionable and can be manipulated, and whether Arthur knows he's doing it or not, and I suspect that he does, and this is, because of that easygoing manner and the smile and what have you, this is how Arthur gets things done. That's, this is why Derval is so important a character. It's because Arthur sees him as an Arthur is very much responsible for Derval and who he becomes. But again, we're not getting that version of Arthur. We're not getting the smiley Arthur. We're just getting a thinky Arthur, which is unusual, shall we say. So Derval asks to join Arthur's men, and he's given a spiel that's not in the books about not encouraging marriage and training of the mind. So they're not encouraging of marriage. I mean, that's all Arthur really wants, is to sit down somewhere, married, with a little farm and what have you, in a peaceful Britain. That is his ultimate goal. His ultimate goal is Thanos eating the weird fruit on that planet. That's what he wants. His job done. He's had to do some horrible things to people, but it's for the greater good, and he can sit off, and there we go, and enjoy his retirement. Of course, he's not destined for that, because that's not how these stories work out, is it? Ask Thanos. So this is so maybe they're changing slightly the emphasis on what's going on as regards to why Derval, and well, not so much Derval, but why people aren't into Arthur after what's it called? Oh yeah, because it's Tudrick, isn't it? That Tudrick and his bride, that or rather his father's bride, that breaks their relationship, Arthur and Derval, for a bit. I just getting ahead of myself. Sorry, yeah. That's what happens. These books, I've read them so many times, but they kind of meld a bit, and so yeah. Anyway, maybe things are going to change about the emphasis of when he goes off with Guinevere then. I'm not sure. We'll see, won't we? So Arthur then sees soldiers coming back from the Saxon frontier with Owain, and it's nice to hear some Welsh-speaking featured extras. It was filmed in Wales, wasn't it? And this is very much Wales, a Welsh-based Arthur, really, that we're telling the story of. So it's nice to hear that. So straight away, so he sees these casualties, and you can see that Arthur, that's a part of the thing that they've decided to make Arthur stay, because at this point he doesn't care either way, seemingly. So Arthur starts his politics at that point. He sort of jumps into chess mode, and regarding the capture of and not killing Gondolas, and he sort of compromises with Owain to use Ladwys as a plaything for his men, which of course he does in the books, because he has to give them something, but at the last minute he changes that to a deal for her to help out with the healers, and he does it in a very kind of Arthur way, Arthur from the books kind of way. You think that this is happening and you've won your little battle, and so we've moved on, but Arthur had another card to play, and he plays it, and you don't even notice that it's happened. And so that little bit there definitely not being in the books, is a nice way of bringing that version of Arthur in. So I was into that. That was about right. It was very odd though, because it was almost Sherlock Holmesy, and there's more of that in a bit. So Nimue asks, is asked to help with the dead, and to the stones on the eyes, and the setting them off to the other world and that kind of thing. And we see Mouse Lord, so British Samson, bishop. Is he a bishop at this time? Oh, I'm not sure. So Samson's blessing, the dead and what have you, and he starts preaching to Nimue about forgiveness and what have you, just before she sees a Ladwis and goes off on one. Again, all not in the books, and it's strange that would have been a moment of headbutting when it comes to paganism, Christianity, and we're still not really getting it. We're not getting a sense of that. So going forward, it's obviously not a thing. I think because in the books, Christians are almost the bad guys, and or rather, Christianity is a bad guy. It's what machinery was with the Industrial Revolution. It was inevitable, but it caused casualties and so on, and it's not got that at all. It's very odd. So anyway, so again, it's all very gentle. It's not. There's no head butting and whatnot. Very strange. So Nimue then has her hoo-ha. Next scene, she's then calling on Derval to kill Gondlius. Saying, you're mine and I'm yours. We swore an oath and that kind of thing. And again, it's just too quick. It's too quick to do it. If you're going to do it, give it a couple of episodes, not a couple of scenes. So next there's a war council, and the music turns very Sherlock Holmesy, and Arthur starts acting very other while he comes up the plans. The music is ding, 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 I'm thinking, ding, 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 and I'm smart, ding, 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 smarter than everyone here, bah, 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 2 steps ahead. And I don't know whether that's a hangover from Bad Wolf. Does Bad Wolf do Sherlock Holmes as well? I know it's Moffat, isn't it? I'm not sure, but it's just got that bit to it. I don't think it's Moffat that did. It was Russell T Davies, wasn't it? Either way. Then we get Owain talking to Bedwin about Arthur and how that he's ambitious. And then you get, setting up the fact that he doesn't like Arthur, and he's a big man and all this carry on. Yeah, because we know where it's going. But yeah, we then go to, I think it's British. It's Mouse Lord again. Oh look, there's a king helping in the fields, as it was said in the Bible, or what have you. I'm not sure that quote. I'm not really a Christian, so I couldn't tell you. It's probably in there, isn't it? I don't know. He's in awe of Arthur at the minute, and he's never liked Arthur. We should be seeing his rise of power, so that Arthur can go and take the gold that he's stashing away from all the pilgrims that come to the is it an olive tree? It's some kind of tree, isn't it? And yeah, that should already exist. In fact, that's next to the Tor, isn't it, or Avalon? Yeah. So what are they doing with Bishop Samson? What is he actually going to be an antagonist at all in this? I don't know. Very, very odd. They're just avoiding the religious thing. Is it so they can get the money in America? If it was anti-Christian, would the executive with a big cigar in his mouth say, I'm not having this business? I don't know. Maybe that happened. Maybe that's just a stereotype and no one smokes cigars. I don't know. Owain tells Derval at that point that he's staying with him rather than sending him to Arthur, because he says, I want to go off with Arthur. And he says, no, you're not. I need good men. You're staying with me. And of course, in the books, Arthur, because at this point Derval's still a kid, he sends him to Owain to train. He knows how to battle. Go and spend some time with him, and you'll be better for it. Also surreptitiously, because he knows that he's up to stuff. So, and to have this young lad that clearly idolizes him, with his closeness to Merlin and so on and so forth, he's handy with a sword. It's just, I'm going to use this kid, and he's going to do exactly what I'm saying. Arthur was grooming him. Très terrible. So we cut to the banquet scene. The banquet scene looks really lush. It looks ace. The food looks amazing. The atmosphere is good. I could, directing wise, nice low camera with the window at the back looked very, very good. It was nice to see the place filled, but I would have liked to have seen more sweeping shots and things. We know what a food and people enjoying food in a film looks and feels like. This felt very static. It looked great, and it just wasn't used. Maybe they couldn't, because just to the left and just to the right there was nobody. It was worth getting the extras in, just to fill up the hall, because goodness knows we haven't seen anyone yet. We've seen 6 horses max, and so on. I don't know. Nimue then asks Derval to steal the key from Arthur's necklace. So, get this done for us, blood. You got to do it. I'm you and you and me. Arthur talks to Ladwis about blood and legitimacy, and how she is not highborn, and yet she's married to Gondlius, and she sort of lets slip what's been going on with Cerwyn and what have you, and the cogs in Arthur's head start whirring again. So we're not far off. Guinevere already. I suppose next episode he's going to go up and get married, and not get married, or rather, get married. Isn't it Bishop Samson that does that? Gets them married, and as part of it, he's like, "You've got to do this and you've got to do that," and it's a very big, important moment for him and his rise to power. Really, we'll have to see. Watch him change it to Bedouin. So back to Nimue telling giving Derval some drugs and saying, given these drugs, it won't kill him. Take the key. So Derval talks to Arthur about Owain, and while Arthur tells Derval old war stories, Derval slips the sleepy powder into Arthur's water. But Arthur knows what's happening, because he says it's because he because he's got big brain and he understands that this is what would happen. But it's in fact that Derval was completely bang on about it. Do you know what I mean? Bang on where we come from is highly suspicious, not just highly suspicious, but overtly suspicious. So bang on, he was sat there haunched, You can see the shaking of his arm. He's looking back. Do you know what I mean? What's he doing to my drink? What are you doing? What do you think you are doing? Is this you being covert and surreptitious? I don't know. But no, what you are being, Derville, is bang on. So anyway, he says, well, blah, blah, blah. I knew that you'd do that. Here, I'll take the key. And he doesn't take the key. He doesn't take the key because his allegiance is with Arthur. He wants so much to be part of Arthur's crew, and Arthur's so pure and what have you, and so honest and blah de blah, that, again, this is all to do with this pie-eyed kind of... Derville's meant to be much younger than he is. Yeah. It's so anyway, Derville goes back to Nimue, and she's obviously very upset. Which I'm not into this. I'm not into them using it so quickly, obviously, like I said, but I'm also not into the fact that he's chosen Arthur over her, and it's not what he does, because when she suffers the third wound and needs rescuing, Merlin's all like, oh, I don't know where she is, Isle of the Dead or something. There's nothing to do with me. Derville, feels the pulsing in his hand where the scar is, and he has to go and rescue her from a place that no one comes back from. No one's allowed to come back from. Otherwise, you're gonna have to fight through the guards. But he goes and does it. He leaves Arthur's army to go and do it, and he's a very important commander at this point, and earn the name Cadern. It's which they've decided Derville means Cadern, so I don't know. Doesn't matter. So it's they've made it so that he's chosen Arthur over Nimue, and that's so far removed from everything, and it makes by making it so fast and only happening in one episode, it makes it so if the writers really are have written the fact that she needs rescuing, and the pulsing of the hand, then it means nothing. He's going to go with Arthur over her because he just did it. So bad writing. Let him do it as a favour, and I don't know. And maybe because he didn't do it, then she asks him to put the cut on the hand. If you want to do it that way, the next time she does it, it really means something, and he has to. By doing it before and portraying it once, he can portray it again if he wants to. I don't know. Right, so Arthur, we're at the end now. Thank you for bearing with me. Arthur then has his plan set in motion. He sets Gondlius free in order for him to bring his uncle to the naming ceremony, of the big reveal. It's going to be an airplane going past saying it's going to be king, admit your frailty and all that carry on. We've got the sword on the stone business then as well, haven't we? While they're all swearing it to him, and Arthur will be his champion rather than Owain, won't he? We'll get into that, aren't we? So we see a different Arthur again, where he says that you better come back with your uncle, or I'm going to give away Gladwys to the men. Basically, the thing that happened anyway, he gets to threaten it instead. So maybe again that was all just chess, 3-dimensional chess that Arthur's playing, that they're really leaning into with his planning and whatnot. again, it's a different Arthur, but I don't mind it. But I like the happy smiley. People would do anything for him, and treat him as if he's a walkover or some kind of wuss. If you don't know him, but if you know him in battle, you know that ain't Arthur. So no, instead they're going with this sort of not quite Sherlock Holmesy type. I know everything, but yous don't. So again, I'm not sure what they're going to do with Merlin. We'll see. So Owain then goes off to collect taxes with and goes to Derfel and says, right, you're with me, because he wants to separate him from Arthur for some reason, rather than just letting him go. And says, right, well, off we go. We're going to go and collect some taxes. And then Lynette's there, and she's like, can I come too? And like, yeah, out of nowhere, we're seeing no romance between them. She's just there. Can I come along for a laugh? Yeah, all right. And yeah, off they go together. So is she gonna? So obviously, I mean, that's more or less where it ends, with Arthur thinking about, well, if this doesn't work, I'm for the high jump. But they're off obviously to go and kill some Cornwallian. Is it Cornwallian if you're from Cornwall? Not sure. Well, they're from Kernu, really, aren't they? But yeah, they're going to go and kill some Kernu miners, tin miners, I think it is. And Derfel's a part of it, and Arthur's not very happy, and he's going to have to... Isn't there a little girl that is the witness that Arthur has to fight for her honour against Owain, and it's a whole thing. Yeah, I think it's so you can see that the books are thereabouts, where it's going along at a nice pace. Arthur and a few of the characters, I think most of the characters actually, are so different, but you can see that it's a separate thing. I'm starting to separate it more from the books, even though last week's episode really was. These are some of the points that made the books really good. We go back to this one where we've got more time character-wise, less action, more character, and those characters sort of jut out a little bit. But I'm looking forward to it. I'm looking forward to what they're going to do with it. I didn't think I'd be saying that after episode 1. Episode 1 for me was a shocker. It was a freezing cold bath. I've moved on. Episode 2 brought peace, and it made episode 3 easier to follow, comprehend, and to ease into. Right, yes. So there we go. Let's see what happens. There's a lot to happen now. But it's got to be Guinevere next episode, doesn't it? Gonna have that whole shenanigans, or do you think that they'll end the series with the falling of the empire, if you like, of all these unions? Because you're not really getting a sense of all of this is pinned on this one marriage. If all I need to do is marry this girl, and everything's laughing, but oh no, I'm gonna go off with Guinevere instead. If I'm not getting a sense of that yet. So maybe they're going to build up to that and let us know how important this marriage is, so that we can have it collapse, the whole thing collapse at the end of the series instead. So we can have three episodes lead up to it. I think that'd be better. for the series. It'd be a nice way to end the series. It, big shocking moment like that. It also let's have a bit of peace. Let's see some Saxons being paid off. Let's see some prosperity. I can't say the word. Let's have that, and then Arthur break the peace with a bit of love. That'd be a good way to end the series, I think. It would not be a good way to end series episode 4 if we haven't seen what peace is, if we haven't seen what Arthur can achieve. Oh no, I'm saying it because I know it's going to happen. Right. Let's find out next week, shall we? Like, subscribe, eat biscuits. Don't dunk them in your tea. I'm not a dunker. It's all that scum at the bottom at the end of it. I'm really not into it. And I'll see you next time. Enjoy yourself. See you later.